Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over my stall team featuring Garganacl and Sableye. The goal of this team is to stall out your opponent and whittle down their HP as you tank big hits, frustrating them and making them give up. The main actors here are Garganacl and Sableye. Garganacl tears into grass type, which I think I have it set as rock. It's supposed to be grass type. And it has the Purifying Salt ability, which stops it from being like burnt and poisoned and paralyzed. And it has moves like Stealth Rock and Salt Cure to whittle damage, while Protect and Recover keeps it alive. Sableye is a great partner in this because it is able to use moves like Fake Out to stop people from attacking, Disable to shut off moves you don't like, and Encore to lock Pokemon into the specific move you want them to be using, like Light Screen or Trick Room. The main attacker in this team is Pheasantipity. With its Toxic Chain ability, it can poison Pokemon just by attacking them. So using Heat Wave and Dazzling Gleam, you can spread toxic poison to your opponents, whittling their HP down even more. Glimmora is another attacker in this team that can also be useful, using its move Mortal Spin to set poison and Venoshock to then do massive damage. Grimmsnarl and Arcanine come in as extra fun Pokemon for this set, especially if you're going to be utilizing Glimmora's Toxic Spikes and the Stealth Rocks on Garganacl. This Arcanine has Roar, allowing you to switch their Pokemon out on command, making them take more chip damage. Meanwhile, Grimmsnarl comes with the Light Clay and can set up both types of screens while also paralyzing opponents who you want to slow down. This team's a lot of fun to play, and it's great to mess with others. Enjoy seeing it in action. Let's get started. Alright, here's our first battle against an opponent. We have Nick here, and as we can see, he has a pretty offensive team with Landorus, Fluttermane, Chien-Pao, Rillaboom, Urshifu, and Ogerpon. All of these Pokemon are strong attackers, so we're going to be leading with Grimmsnarl and Garganacl here. Garganacl is pretty much always going to be a lead Pokemon for you. Grimmsnarl is going to be there to set up screens. In this case, it looks like we're going to be mostly setting up the physical screen, but we can set up both. And then it can also provide speed support with Thunder Wave, slowing down Pokemon that are just a little bit too fast. Garganacl here is going to be our rock, holding down the fort as we set up. Okay, so his starting team is Landorus and Fluttermane. Landorus is going to Intimidate, but luckily our Pokemon don't really use special attacks, so that or physical attacks, so that Intimidate doesn't really matter. Fluttermane used Photosynthesis, so its speed is heightened. So to start off here, we're going to protect with Garganacl. We want to keep him at as much HP as possible, and then we are going to set up the light screen because we feel like Fluttermane is the most dangerous of the two targets on the opposing side of the field. Our opponent takes Landorus out, which is actually great for us, and brings in Rillaboom, which means our prediction of setting up Light Screen is what we needed to do. Garganacl protects, meaning it's not going to take any damage, and then our buddy Grimmsnarl sets up the Light Screen. This Light Screen is going to be really important considering what Fluttermane is going to do next with its Dazzling Gleam. Garganacl will take no damage, and because of the Light Screen, Grimmsnarl is going to be able to take this hit no problem. Now that they've switched up the field, we're going to want to Terra and use Salt Cure. We're tearing to grass because that means that their grass moves aren't going to do as much damage to us, and we can set up the Reflect with Grimmsnarl. Since he has Prankster, he'll be going first. We chose grass for this, mostly because of the prevalence of Rillaboom and other attackers that would be coming into Garganacl. A lot of people also use Ghost or Poison, but we liked Grass for this one. Grass means that we can tank that hit from Rillaboom, and we use Reflect to boost our regular defense. Grimmsnarl takes another Dazzling Gleam, not going out yet, and we get Salt Cure on Rillaboom, which means he's going to be losing hit points every turn. That's good for us. Garganacl does have leftovers, so between leftovers and the grassy terrain, we're never going to be low on hit points. Rillaboom, however, is going to be losing because Salt Cure does more damage than the grassy terrain can provide. Garganacl will defend itself again with Protect, while we use Thunder Wave on Fluttermane. This will make it so that it will not be able to attack every turn, and it's going to slow it down. Grassy Glide can't take out Grimmsnarl thanks to our Reflect, and Thunder Wave slows down Fluttermane. An excellent stall tactic. It tries to use Mystical Fire into Garganacl, but it protected, meaning we got the Thunder Wave off for free, and now Rillaboom will take some more Salt Cure damage. In this next turn, we're going to use Salt Cure again, however this time it'll be on Fluttermane to start it losing its hit points. Meanwhile, we're going to use Thunder Wave on Rillaboom this time. Grimmsnarl, however, can't hang on, so we don't get the Thunder Wave off on Rillaboom, but that's okay. Fluttermane ends up not being able to move due to the paralysis, which was the whole point, and we can use Salt Cure on it, meaning it'll start losing hit points and have the paralysis. Ultimately, this is exactly where we want to be, with both opposing Pokemon losing hit points every turn thanks to their Salt Cure. Meanwhile, Garganacl has lost basically no hit points. Now we'll switch in Sableye. Sableye is Garganacl's partner in crime here in the stall tactic of this team. Garganacl will use Protect once again to make sure that it doesn't get hurt, while Sableye uses its Fake Out on Rillaboom, stopping one of its attacks. Fluttermane returns to Dazzling Gleam, doing nothing to Garganacl, who protected, but will hit Sableye for super effective damage. Thanks to our shields, however, we are just fine, and Sableye takes that just okay. Salt Cure does more damage to Fluttermane and Rillaboom, and we're in a good spot. This turn we're going to use Stealth Rocks in case they decide to switch, and here we're going to use Disable to get rid of Dazzling Gleam. Now one of Fluttermane's main attacks has been disabled, so it can't use that, and it gets paralyzed, so it doesn't move this turn. Grassy Glide goes into Sableye, but it survives, and we were able to set up Stealth Rocks no problem. Now the two Pokemon in the back, when they switch in, will be taking damage. Salt Cure keeps knocking down Fluttermane and Rillaboom's hit points, and without the grassy terrain, they're not going to be able to recover those hit points anymore. We decide to Salt Cure Fluttermane to make sure that it takes a little bit more damage, and we're going to Protect with Sableye so we can keep it on the field. The opponent decides to take Fluttermane out, which actually works perfectly for us, as he sends in Landorus. Landorus is going to take quite a bit of stone damage since it's a flying type, and it's going to intimidate us, which once again is fine because we don't really use attacks. We protect, and Rillaboom protects, wasting its turn and taking more hit points of damage. Salt Cure takes Landorus, meaning it will also start losing hit points every turn. Already close to half. Rillaboom takes more damage, and we're sitting in a solid spot. Garganacl will protect this turn. Meanwhile, we're going to use Encore on Rillaboom, so it is trapped protecting. Unfortunately, they switch Rillaboom out, realizing that that's probably what I was going to do, and they switch in Urshifu, which is the Rapid Strike form. It takes its stone damage, and they decide to Terra Landorus. Landorus terras into a flying type, but Garganacl protects, so the Terra Blast that's going to be coming from Landorus isn't going to hit it. Sableye tries Encore, but it fails because Rillaboom switched out, and Terra Blast doesn't connect. Salt Cure continues to lower Landorus's hit points, and we lose our light screen. That's not a big deal though. We're going to use Salt Cure on Urshifu, which is a water type, meaning it'll take extra damage from Salt Cure. Meanwhile, Sableye will be using Protect this turn to keep it alive. Urshifu, however, does have Unseen Fist, so it's able to go through Sableye's Protect, knocking it out. It's a bummer we lost Sableye at this point, but it's fine because U-Turn forces them to switch out, meaning whichever Pokemon comes in is going to be taking damage from the Stealth Rocks again. This also sets up our end game, allowing us to switch in Pheasantipede for free. Resetting Grassy Terrain also helps us, as it'll be able to allow us to keep Garganacl healthy. Landorus takes another hit from Salt Cure, and Rillaboom does as well, as we were going to be attacking the Urshifu, but instead hit Rillaboom. Our Reflect turns off, which isn't great, but that's okay. It was bound to happen eventually, and this battle was going to take a while. Pheasantipede comes in, who's our main attacker, and now we're ready to go. Garganacl protects to keep itself healthy, and we choose to use Heat Wave. I think. No, we picked Dazzling Gleam here, just in case they switch. Rillaboom protects, which is fine, and Landorus is going to get ready to attack again. However, we protected ourselves, meaning Landorus's attack isn't going to hit. Pheasantipede then gets to do a Dazzling Gleam without taking any damage this turn, and hits Landorus hard, bringing it within Salt Cure. It also gets Toxic Poison due to Toxic Chain. Either of those conditions will knock out Landorus, so Landorus is on its way out. Pheasantipede does take Life Orb damage, but thanks to the Grassy Terrain, we're going to heal that damage. Landorus takes its 2 conditions worth of damage and faints, while Rillaboom takes some Salt Cure damage. We've officially knocked out Pokemon, and we're not going anywhere. Rillaboom is on its deathbed. Urshifu comes back in, taking more damage from the rocks, bringing it down to a decent amount of hit points. We Salt Cure into Urshifu, making sure that it's going to be taking that Salt Cure damage, and we use Dazzling Gleam again since it's more effective against Urshifu. U-Turn goes into Garganacl, meaning that Urshifu switches back out again, which is fine. That means our Salt Cure will be going into the returning Fluttermane. Fluttermane already has a considerable amount of its HP down, and it takes even more damage with the Stealth Rock. And then the Dazzling Gleam does more damage, knocking out Rillaboom before it has the opportunity to do anything. This turns out great, as the Salt Cure gets to go into Fluttermane, no problem, meaning that it too will get knocked out at the end of this turn. After this, it's only a matter of time before the Urshifu falls, and we've wrapped this game up. Urshifu takes more stone damage, and we're able to set up a Protect for Garganacl to make sure we don't get hit while we Dazzling Gleam to get rid of Fluttermane. Urshifu tries to Surging Strikes into Pheasantipity, but we do have high defense, so we survive that Surging Strikes, allowing us to get our Dazzling Gleam off, finishing off Fluttermane, and getting Urshifu down into the point where it is at danger of losing. After that, we finish off Urshifu and take this battle. Alright, on to our second match with the Stall, Sableye, Garganacl team. For this team, we're going to be starting with Garganacl, and we're going to bring Grimmsnarl again, just like last time. And then we'll bring Sableye and Pheasantipity again. This is mainly due to the composition of their team. I feel pretty confident bringing these Pokemon again in this situation. There's lots of Pokemon here that would take extra damage from Garganacl's Salt Cure, including the Palafin and the Magnezone. So that's also helpful. Alright, so the battle starts off, and they start with their own Garganacl and Palafin. We know Palafin's going to try to switch out, so we would like to try to set up rocks before that happens. But that might not actually be able to do that. So we're going to Terra and use Stealth Rocks, and we're going to set up the Reflect because of the physical attackers present at the beginning here. Alright, so we Terra and set up a Reflect, which is what we want to do. Their Garganacl uses Salt Cure, which isn't great, but it happens. And we set up Stealth Rocks, making it harder for them to do a switch in the future. Our Grimmsnarl takes some Salt Cure damage, which is fine, and we're going to set up Salt Cure on their Garganacl. Meanwhile, we're going to use Thunder Wave on Annihilape to slow it down and potentially paralyze it in battle. Thunder Wave works, and Garganacl Salt Cures our Garganacl. Annihilape unfortunately has Brick Break, which is going to rip through our Reflect and do some pretty big damage on our Grimmsnarl. Not exactly what we wanted, but we do get the Salt Cure off on their Garganacl. 3 of the 4 Pokemon on the field are now Salt Cured, and we're going to keep it going. Alright, we're going to put Salt Cure on Annihilape now, so he's taking damage. We want everybody to be taking that. And we're going to use Reflect again, hoping they don't follow up with another Brick Break. Fortunately, Grimmsnarl does go down as we do get the Brick Break again. However, their entire team is now being Salt Cured, and our Pokemon being Salt Cured can recover its hit points, so we're okay in that fact. Another round of Salt Cure damage goes through. And now we're going to bring in Pheasantipity. We really want to try to get rid of this Annihilape. It's been kind of a pain in our side. Garganacl is going to go for the Protect here, and we're going to use Dazzling Gleam as it's super effective against Annihilape. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to poison Annihilape, but there's a solid chance we might get the poison off on Garganacl, so this is a good choice here. Oop, looks like they're going to Terra. And they have Terra Poison. So that means, unfortunately, we are no longer going to be able to poison Garganacl, which would have been very helpful. So we are stuck with only Salt Cure as a way to lower their hit points. This could also lead to a situation where we have a Garganacl on Garganacl finale, which could be dangerous because we're in tie/who wins territory then. Alright, we're going to use Recover, and we're going to switch to Heat Wave. Going for the potential Burn now instead. That is a great way to make sure that we get some damage reduction on the Garganacl if we can get this Burn on it. Alright, Garganacl has Wide Guard as its 4th move, meaning that our Heat Wave isn't going to hit. Which is really frustrating. Annihilate uses Final Gambit, taking out a big chunk of Garganacl's hit points while sacrificing itself. It doesn't do as much as he probably thought it was going to do, though, as Garganacl then recovers, raising its hit points back up to a much more respectable margin. Alright, everybody takes some Salt Cure damage. And they bring in Arcanine now. Arcanine takes stone damage, and it doesn't intimidate, which is fine. We're not special attack, or we're not physical attackers. We're going to want to protect here, make sure that we don't get hit by a Flare Blitz. And then we're going to, of course, want to try to get as much damage as possible out. Arcanine protects, however, so it's not going to get hit by Fezzandipity's move. Roost brings Fezzandipity's hit points back up, which is going to be very helpful in the long run as it gets Salt Cured. Alright, another round of Salt Cure damage goes through. And we keep going. We're going to use Salt Cure on Arcanine here. And then use Heat Wave. Really hoping for that burn on Garganacl. No burn, and Garganacl does recover. An unfortunate side effect of opposing Garganacls. Salt Cure does go off on Arcanine, though, dealing a decent amount of damage. And we're back to four Pokemon Salt Cure turns. Alright, Salt Cures are over. And we're going to continue trying to put chip damage on Pokemon. Arcanine did pick up the poison from the last attack, which is great. There, Garganacl uses Wide Guard. Flare Blitz goes into Fezzandipity. And Fezzandipity does faint. Luckily, it did put the poison on Arcanine, and with the recoil damage, we should be able to get through that. Arcanine gets hurt by the poisoning and the Salt Cure. And now we're down to Garganacl. And Garganacl. We do have Sableye, though, so we're going to bring Sableye in, and they bring in their final Pokemon, Palafin. Alright, with our buddy Sableye in, we're going to fake out the Palafin, so it can't use its first attack. Deciding to protect instead. Alright. Palafin Jet Punches into Sableye. Sableye uses Encore. Garganacl has to use Salt Cure. So no healing. It does take out our Sableye though. This is our attempt to get it to take lots of damage. We want to make sure we can get rid of this Garganacl. Everybody takes a little bit of salt damage. Then we're going to use Protect. We just want Palafin to whittle itself down hit point wise without us taking too much damage when we go into this Garganacl versus Garganacl battle. And our opponent is taking his sweet time. Palafin uses Jet Punch, does nothing to Garganacl. And then Garganacl can only use Salt Cure, so we take no damage from that. And then another round of Salt Cures comes through. Okay, we're going to use Recover, make our hit points higher, and defend against any damage we take. And hopefully Salt Cure takes out Palafin this turn. And then we'll be down to a Garganacl versus Garganacl showdown. Palafin goes for Wave Crash, making it take recoil damage, meaning it's definitely going to get knocked out. And we take another Salt Cure, and we use Recover. Now this battle is going to come down to whether or not one of us can knock out each other's Garganacl, something that's probably not going to happen. And then it comes down to the tie-breaking procedure, which I'm not really sure how it goes. Spoiler alert, it ends up going to me. So that's for that battle. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, let's check out this third battle now with our Stall, Sableye, Garganacl team. This time we're going to switch it up and we're going to actually start with Glimmora and Grimmsnarl, bringing Pheasantipede and Garganacl in the back. We're doing this because of the slacking and a bunch of the other Pokemon. We're going to try to get them poisoned from the get-go here, instead of opting to start with Garganacl. Luckily for us, Glimmora here does have Mortal Spin, which poisons both opposing Pokemon. Alright, so they start with Slacking and Wheezing, meaning that Slacking's ability is turned off. Unfortunately, that means Grimmsnarl's is as well. We did really want to have Grimmsnarl's ability because that's going to let it go first, but instead we do have Slacking going first with its high speed. It knocks off our Rocky Helmet, not the biggest deal in the world, and we use Mortal Spin, which poisons Slacking. Alright, so Slacking has already taken a lot of damage, which is great. And we're going to use Venoshock here to try to mop up that Slacking sooner rather than later. We're also going to switch out, taking Grimmsnarl out and putting Garganacl in, so we can start using Salt Cure on Wheezing. Alright, Glimmora falls for the taunt, but that's okay because it doesn't have any status moves. And we did manage to take out Slacking, so that was excellent. Urshifu comes out in Replacement, which is great because it is a water type. We are going to Mortal Spin again to set up poison on that one. And we are going to use Salt Cure after tearing back into Urshifu, dealing with the offensive threats first. Alright, Urshifu ends up poisoned, which is great, taking some damage. Clear Smog into Glimmora is just fine, not taking a lot of hit points from that. And we get the Salt Cure off. Alright, now we can Venoshock or Power Gem. We're going to use Power Gem here. We want to get rid of this Wheezing now. We're kind of sick of him being here. Alright, we did some great damage on Wheezing here. Unfortunately, it did have a Citrus Berry. And then it clears Smoggets, which does some damage since we're Grass type. Wheezing takes some Salt Cure damage, and now we can use Mortal Spin on our new attacking friend, Iron Hands. We're going to protect with Garganacl because we don't want to get hit with another Clear Smog. Alright, Mortal Spin comes in, gets the poison on Iron Hands. Okay. Oh good, Glamora shut off the taunt. We'll Venom Shock into our buddy Iron Hands, and then we'll use Salt Cure on it as well. Venom Shock's going to do a decent chunk of hit points. And the Drain Punch into Glamora is unfortunately going to finish it off. Okay, that's fine. Alright, Pheasantipity comes in. Garganacl will protect, and Pheasantipity is going to hopefully hit both. Alright, we knock out Wheezing, which is great, meaning we can have our abilities back. And Heavy Slam goes into Pheasantipity for super effective damage. Alright, and now we're down to Urshifu, which means we just need to take it out and we'll have a victory. He's going to Terra, try to survive through that. And power up his move. Surging Strikes. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to break through Garganacl. Meaning we pick up the win. Another great match. Thank you all so much for checking out our team. It was very exciting to show off this stall tactic in play. And I hope you try something similar. It's a fun set to run, and it gets the job done. We'll see you later with some more great Pokemon battle team strategy. And until then, keep training, trainers. You got this. Adios.